G'day everyone, and for those who came in late, you're watching another one of ChronicleChamber.com's video reviews. I'm Dan Fraser, and today we are looking at the Phantom Gallery Cards Series 2 as released by Fanfare and Frew at Supernova this weekend. They're available for sale either on the Frew website or in newsagents as of, I think, now when you're watching this. So, I'm going to take a bit through a bit of a look at them and let you know what you're in for if you choose to get involved. And spoilers, I'm going to recommend you do. So first up, you can see the folder here that's got the beautiful Massimo Gamberi image on it. That image is replicated in the card box. This is one that I've lovingly been through and opened a great deal of the cards from. It's still going to look fantastic on the collectible shelf if you choose to hang on to that one, or if you can get it from your local store. We'll just put that to the side for the moment though as we look at the cards. These are the individual cards. It's got a fantastic image by Glenn Ford on the front there, with information about the series on the back. And you know what, let's just as a bit of a thing to see, let's have a look at opening one of these cards just so you can see what you get. There's 9 cards in the pack, art cards that are there, images of the Phantom. We'll talk a little bit more of those in a moment. Some story cards which are cool. We'll talk about the story, and a chase card as well. You are guaranteed one of these chase cards in every set, which is nice to a point, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. So, just putting those to one side, let's have a look at the folder itself. We've got some credits on the back, people who are involved, the beautiful artwork by Massimo Gamberi, as I said. Now, if we open this up, what you'll see straight away is actually Series 1. I've made the decision to include Series 1 in this folder. When I collected Series 1 back in the 90s when it was released, I didn't get the folder. I still don't have the folder. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure if there is a folder. I assume there probably is. But anyway, I don't have it. So I've decided to include Series 1 in this folder just to keep them together, and particularly because there is a story, Death's Dark Path, that comes with the stories. Now, just to emphasize, this is from Series 1. Lots of you will have seen this, maybe you haven't. If you haven't, probably doesn't matter. You would want to probably go and hunt it up on eBay and that sort of thing if you are getting into the Phantom cards for the first time. Or maybe you've got this. What I would suggest, if you do have it, go back and reread the story. If you don't have it, it's not a killer in terms of the story that we're about to read, because if I flick to my divider, what we see here is the second part of Death's Dark Path, part 2, as you can see there. Story continues by Chuck Dixon, art by the magnificent Nolan. Love his Phantom, and I really love the way that he's used the 9 cards to tell a story. He's laid out his comic book page, but he's still been able to use some really great panoramic panels, cut some panels together, really use the 9 panels and the colouring, as you can see. I'm not going to go dwell on the story too much because I know people are going to want to read it and put it together for themselves, but look, it is magnificent, and Nolan is knocking it out of the park on this one. Really enjoyed the story. Very fast paced, as I said. If you've read Series 1 recently, or go back and read part 1 of the story, then that certainly helps. But look, you can read part 2 in isolation and take a lot out of it. You'll probably wonder a little bit, if you haven't read the other one, you'll probably wonder a little bit why there's just some gorilla heads just sitting in the middle of a laboratory. That is explained in part 1, but it's still an enjoyable story nonetheless. Very fast paced, very quick. It's a shorter part than part 1, we'll say that. Alright, once the story finishes, you're getting into the art cards. The art cards are fantastic. Really going to give these a pump up because it's just... we've seen so many of the images of the Phantom before, and it's just fantastic to see so many new ones that we haven't seen published before. We've got the beautiful black and white. We've got more retro-looking classic classic scenes, but not necessarily by the same artist. The current daily artist here is Mike Manley. He's represented as well. And in fact, this whole page, the whole first 2 pages, are in fact part of the US Forces theme. So what Glenn has done is to theme the pages by geography. And so the first 2 pages, there's 18 cards in this set in the US Forces set, which is all American artists. The next set is from the Latin Legends, and these are all South American artists. Some you will have heard of, some that have a really classic take on the Phantom. Some we've seen in Phantom's World. I suppose we have seen that image before, published on the front cover of one of the Phantom's Worlds. No, sorry, that was in a folio, I think. So not a lot of people will have seen that necessarily. And then some really unusual images of the Phantom, some unusual takes from some new artists as well. So Edward Barreto, this is the really classic one. He's obviously an artist that lots of people will be familiar with. Not just the Latin Legends there though, but then we go into Euro visionaries, and so we've got European artists there. A lot of them are from Italy. The next section that we've got is the Norse gods of the first six, so some Scandinavian artists. And then what are we calling this one? Guardians of the Eastern Dark, which is pretty cool. And Turkish and Philippines are represented down there. The next set of cards that we're looking at here are into the Australian artists. And once again, I guess with such a heavily Australian influence, we've got 18 cards in the set of the Frew crew. And almost everyone here, I'm going to say, has contributed to Frew comics recently, or in the not too distant past. You will see a little bit of scribble on these ones, and I'm pretty chuffed that I was able to see a lot of these artists at the Frew booth at the Sydney Supernova Convention, and meet and talk to a lot of these guys, which was really pleasing and a nice little addition to the collection, is to get a few of those signed if you can. The next cards here, so we're up to card 100 here. That's the index card, which will be really important for reasons we'll talk about in a moment. I've added the Gallery Series 2 promo card. That was the one that came with the 80th anniversary comic 3 years ago now, which was in the first time this got promoted. We've been waiting for a while, but well worth the wait. This is a promotional card that was in the show bags, for want of a better term, that were available at Sydney Supernova. Now these three are the chase cards. I have, look, here's the one that we found in this set. Where is it? The Bane Karak card. I've also been able to keep out a couple of these other cards that were there. Jeff Weigel, again signed because I saw him at Supernova. Bane Karak and Paul Ryan here we've got as well. Obviously, you can sort of see there. I'm trying not to get the gloss too much onto the camera, but you can see how shiny they are. Beautiful cards, beautifully rendered. The only possible thing you might say about that is it's a shame that they actually become more common, if anything, because there's one of them in every pack that you open. One of these 9, one of these, a lot of these 6, and certainly, definitely guaranteed one of the 9 chase cards are going to appear. You actually end up with quite a number of doubles of these, which is an interesting conundrum that you get, if anything, more of the chase cards than you do of the common cards. I've already sort of had a look at these ones over here. We've had a brief glance. These are the Salvaludo cards. I love these in particular, the Salvaludo cards. They're just beautifully done, beautiful images, and if I pull one out, we can have a look at the embossing on those. Perhaps you might be able to see the embossing, the way that that's been raised up. Just beautifully done, beautiful images. And if we have a flip over the back, what they do is they show an image on across the back as well, another beautiful Salvaludo image. Just a point, to get that happening, you've actually got to flip them around. You would normally, I would think, most people would probably just go GV1, GV2, GV3 in terms of the numbering, but you've actually got to do them in reverse order, 3, 2, 1, to get that image come out on the back. Most people will figure that out pretty quickly, I would imagine. Here we have got the Sibari card. Now you're looking at getting one of these in every 2 packets, apparently. Every 2 boxes. Apparently you've got to open 2 boxes to find one of these. I was lucky enough to find this one in, I think, the 12th or the 15th packet that I opened. So really lucky to have picked that one up. I have seen this one available for sale on eBay or Facebook already. If you're not lucky enough to find one and you'd like to chase that down in particular. So there's that one there. So really, as you can see, beautiful, beautiful cards. There is also a Massimo Gamberi carton card that you can pick up if you buy, I think it's 5 boxes from Frew. They'll throw that one in for you as well. Now, can't go too far without pointing out one of the things that just jumps out straight away, and there is a couple of numbering issues with some of the cards, and I've left this on page 11, on this page on purpose, because that's card 11, and what you'll see is, so that's card 11 there, and there's actually another card that's labelled card 11 as well. So just a slight misprint there. If you flip over, you can find it pretty quickly. It's the red one, obviously, with the other red cards. So it's actually number 20 is what it's supposed to be. There's another example of that as well. If we look here, this is card number 70, 71, and 92. And that's another example of 92. You can see that it's labelled there. But if we flip over, you can see there's also another 92. I don't have a spare of that one, but you can see that one there. That's the Jamie Johnson Frew Crew badge, Frew Crew card, sorry. And again, you can work that out if you just go to the index and, logically, this is number 92, but it's a Eurovisionary card, not a Frew Crew card. So not rocket science to work out where those go. The other one that's copped a little bit of interest, I suppose, is this one here, and that's the card that's labelled T. It's number 85. You've only got to look on the back to find out that it's a Gary Challenor illustration. And again, you just go to your index card and identify where that one goes. So a couple of little minor errors, nothing that's too serious. Look, I love them. I absolutely love them. As I've said a number of times, so good to see so many different types of artwork. And if we flip through the pack that I opened before, there's going to be artwork that appeals to some people. Really classic images, really aggressive images, really unusual images, which I guess some people won't like that fandom. But if you look at the artist, that's Ryan Cody. He contributed to the Dynamite's Kings fandom, where that was a fandom character. So some people are going to like it, some people aren't. There's going to be images that you love and images that you're not so fussed on. I love Graham Nolan's work, I really do. Look, it's horses for courses, but the thing is, there are something like 75 brand new images never seen before that you're going to be able to pick and choose from and enjoy over the course of time in your gallery Series 2 folder. So highly recommended. Comes with the 4, what am I going to say, 4? I'm going to give it 4.5 good marks out of 5 as a set, as a collectible. The nostalgia value of being able to open them, and if you've seen our other video with my son Gus starting to open his set, the fun of being able to share that with a kid, just fantastic. So highly recommended. Get into it. It's available. These are available by the box or by the pack. On the Frew website, fandomcomic.com.au, or in your newsagents or local comic book stores starting Thursday. I don't even know what the date tomorrow is. Let's say 27, 28, something like that. So get into it. Go and hassle your newsagent, go and see your local comic book store, or hit up the Frew website and get yourself some gallery cards for Series 2. All right, until next time, everyone, happy phantoming.